Yo, what it do? Man, y'all already know what it is. Appreciate y'all for stopping back by the house, man. And as always, I am that boy Box. This is Roughhouse Boxing TV. And man, first of all, I gotta say, big shout out to the whole block fam. You know what I'm saying? It'd be Marlo's Corner with the homie Trey X, Legendary Top Cats, El Fenici Main Boxing Biker. You know what I'm saying? Chris Rayner. You know what I'm saying? Myself and everybody else that rock with us over there on Marlo's Corner, man. Y'all make sure y'all tune in tonight, man, to catch the fights, man. Javante Tank Davis fighting against that boy Nunez tonight. They had a fight called On Marlo's Corner. And not sure about the Maurice Hooker and Jose Ramirez fight, if that one's gonna be called, because both of those fights are gonna be running neck and neck, same timeline. But yeah, shout out to the block fam, man. Shout out to the whole LDBC. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to everybody in the whole fighting community, man. Everybody that stopped by the house, man. Y'all already know what it is, man. Wipe your feet, close the door behind you, man. Come on in. As a matter of fact, come on through the house and come out on the back porch, man. That's why I'm chilling out on the back porch. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood today. So that's what it is, man. All right, now this is the hold up. Wait, let me stop before I go into that, man. Hey, y'all do your boy solid, man. Go ahead and smash the like button for me right now, man. And if you haven't subscribed, it's your first time stopping by the house, man, hit the subscribe button, man, and hit the bell icon so you get the notifications when we got something going on here at the house, man. But that's what it is. All right, now this is the breakdown prediction video for Maurice Hooker versus Jose Ramirez, which, in my opinion, is going to be the fight of the weekend. I'm going to go ahead and say the reason I didn't do the Tank Nunez breakdown is because, one, it's not a whole lot out there on Nunez, and two, based off the little bit that I did find in Nunez, man, I believe Tank is going to smoke this dude. So it's kind of like it's like a homecoming fight. As a matter of fact, I think it is a homecoming fight. It's going to be in Baltimore. And they got somebody for Tank to walk over and look spectacular. So I'll be super surprised if Nunez gives him some stiff resistance. But yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and talk about Hooker versus Ramirez, man. We're gonna get into the good, the bad, the ugly, you know what I'm saying? And as always, I got my notes. That's what's up. So let's go ahead and get it. All right, Maurice Hooker comes in with a record of 26-0-3, 3 draws. He's got 17 KOs. He stands 5 feet 11 inches. He has an 80-inch reach, and he's an orthodox fighter. We're going to the good. He's got a quick, stiff jab, and that's one of his most prized weapons in his arsenal. He's a tall 147-pounder. Like I said, he's 5'11". He's almost 6 feet tall for a 140-pound fighter, man. That is tall. That's super tall. He's got an excellent straight right. A lot of times he follows that up behind that jab. Shows the ability to get in and out pretty well. And I'm a little bit lower down here. I say he's got good footwork, so that kind of coincides with that. He's got good footwork laterally and forward and backwards. So he's pretty good on the move and being able to navigate his way around the ring. He doesn't look clumsy, doesn't stand flat-footed a whole lot, but yeah, he's got good footwork and he's got good mobility. Let's see, decent counterpuncher. I would even upgrade that a little bit and say good. He's a good counterpuncher when he exercises his counterpunch game. Let's see, he's got a nice left hook and a good right hook. So he's a good hooker. No pun intended. That's what's up. He can control range and distance well with that jab and with the straight right behind it. He's got a nice uppercut. I noticed that in the Cicero fight, and trying to think what was the other fight of his that I was watching. I can't think of the other fight, but yeah, he's got the ability to for opponents that like to duck their head, lower their head. He can give them what I call that special delivery, man, that little sneaky uppercut, or he can catch them from range with the uppercut. You know, you see, he's got a good 1-2, and he's got a good 1-6. 1-2 is the jab and the straight right. 1-6 is the jab and the right uppercut. So he's got good short combos, and those are two of his specialties. And he can change speeds. I like the fact that he's just not one speed You know, he's not on full throttle all the time. When you're on full throttle all the time, sometimes that makes you timeable. That makes you susceptible to counter punches and counter movements from your opponent. All right, on to the bad. Not an aggressive starter. He's a pretty cautious starter in these fights. Um, that may not be the case by necessity in this fight because Jose Ramirez jumps on the gas from the jump. So Ramirez may force him to start a bit more aggressively than he normally starts. He can be lured in the phone booth. You know, we talked about he's got an 80-inch reach and he stands 5 feet 11 inches tall. So, I mean, he has the ability, the technique, the fundamentals, the tools and tactics to work a superior and a beautiful outside game. But sometimes you can get him in there to bang, you know what I'm saying, and get in that phone booth. You know, not saying he can't do it, but I think he's more optimal working from the outside. Let's say let's the opponents get inside on him sometimes, and that's although we did say that he can control range and distance. When he isn't controlling range and distance, it seems like he opens up the door and lets opponents in easily. So I think he needs to keep that door closed, you know, unless he's trying to get in there and get inside. But keep that jab, the straight right, keep that out there in that opponent's face. Doesn't pull the trigger as quickly as he needs to at times. I was watching. Oh, I cannot think of who was that I was watching him fight against. But anyway, it seemed like they were a shorter fighter with a much shorter reach, and it seems like they would get started coming in, and he wouldn't really pull the trigger on his shots until they were halfway inside, instead of pulling the trigger earlier and catching them and stopping their momentum on their way in. So a lot of those times they were able to get inside, and sometimes they were able to get some work off. You know, so I think he needs to be a bit quicker on the trigger when it comes to opponents trying to get in on him. Doesn't emphasize on the body enough, in my opinion. He, like we talked about, that right hook that he's got, and a nice left hook, man. But and he does deliver shots to the body. I would just like to see a bit more of that, because the only way you're going to be able to slow these fighters down that like to bogart their way in and rush their way in, or whatever the case is, you got to work the body. You best believe Jose Ramirez is going to attempt to work the body. So, yeah, there we go. So now we'll go on to Jose Ramirez. Jose Ramirez comes in with a record of 24-0-0, 16 KOs, stands 5 feet 10 inches. So pretty close in height, but he has a 72.5-inch reach. So Jose has a 7.5-inch disadvantage in reach against Hooker. So he is definitely going to have to find his way past that jab, get inside, and be able to get his work off at a closer range. All right, on to the good. It's got a nice jab. Good use of feints. That's one thing that kind of stood out to me. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't just run in all the time, but he kind of tries to time it, you know, with fakes and feints or whatever, and get the opponent to react. And when they react one way, then he tries to come in, you know, in whatever opening is there. It's got an excellent left hook, man. His left hook, especially to the body, man, but to the head as well, man. But that left hook is on point. That's going to be the weapon, in my opinion, that Maurice Hooker is going to have to look out for, is that left hook. If he can guard against that, it'll make the night a whole lot easier. Applies effective pressure and effective aggression. When he gets inside, you know, he's the type that likes to stalk his opponent down and get in there on the inside if he can. And when he gets there inside where he's comfortable to get his work off, he gets busy. He doesn't just get in there and you know, just lay on the opponent or whatever. His pressure and his aggression is for a reason. So he can get inside and get that work off, and he normally does that. It's got a nice lead straight right. That was something that surprised me too, because from the past fights that I've seen of him, that didn't stand out to me. But when I was going back looking at film, that straight right, you know what I'm saying, it kind of I won't say jumped off the screen, but it was noticeable. And I was like, okay, he's got that. It's got a good body attack, nice inside game. We already talked about that's where he wants to be. That's where he's comfortable, especially against a fighter that's got a 7.5-inch reach advantage on you. You got to get in there and you know what I'm saying, be able to soften him up, be able to minimize the movement and take advantage of uh, any openings they give you with that amount of reach. All right. He's got nice pop on his shots. That's self-explanatory. Tough, rugged fighter. You know what I'm saying? He's coming to scrap. He's got dog in him. Oh, and that's something I forgot about Mo Hooker, man. I got that. He's got heart. He's got dog. He got dropped in the Alex Aceto fight, got up, got busy, brought it home. So, you know, he's not that type that's going to go in there and lay down. Mo is coming to scrap just like Jose Ramirez is coming to scrap. So this is going to be a good fight, man. Just because of that alone, because of the heart and the dog that both of these fighters got, it's going to make it real interesting. Jose's got nice short combos. The 3-4, I would say is his best combo. You'll see the 1-2 in there, you know what I'm saying, periodically, but the 3-4 to me is his best combo. Does good work when the opponents are on the ropes. He loves to get his opponent backed up against the rope and get them stationary in the against the ropes, in the corner, whatever the case may be. But if he can get that ring at their back, he really goes to town and tries to take advantage of when he got his opponent there. He's got a good motor, good pace. Normally the speed that he starts at and the output that he starts at, you know, in the beginning of the fight is the output that he ends the fight with. You know what I'm saying? He's got one speed, and that's go, full throttle. So he's pretty good. So his conditioning is normally pretty good. All right, on to the bad. Has some trouble with jabbers. In the fight with Amir Ahman, even though he won that fight, the first few rounds, that jab was frustrating him, and it seemed like I guess after about the third round or so, I guess he figured, well, you know, not a lot of pop on these. I'm just gonna eat them and keep coming, and that's what it wound up being, man. He ate a lot of those jabs, and he just came on in. But I think Mo's jab is gonna be quicker. It's gonna be stiffer. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be a bit more frustrating because it's gonna come from a further distance than Amir Man's jab came from. Hand speed is average at best. Seems like a lot of his shots, especially from range, you can kind of tell they're coming. He sort of loads up on them, and they're not the fastest in the world. So he may be susceptible to some good counterpunch work because of that. Is hittable, will take shots. We just talked about him eating those jabs, but he'll take shots. He's not the most fleet of foot. His lateral upper body movement isn't the best in the world. He's not the slickest. He doesn't slip a whole lot of shots, you know, to the point where you go, oh man, this dude Ramirez is a defensive wizard. Nah, that's not him, man. He can be hit, and he does get hit. So we'll see how much of a factor that plays into this fight. Head gets stationary at times. You see the feints early in the fight, and you know what I'm saying, it's kind of hard to feint and not move your head. So you get that, but it seems like there's periods in the fight where the feints become fewer and the head work comes basically non-existent. And that's a lot of the time when he eats those punches. What else we got? Seems open to the uppercut a lot. I noticed that against Amir Ahman. And who else did I watch him fight? I can't remember. But that was something that I noticed, man, that he likes to duck his head a lot, and that uppercut is a weapon that can be used for that. You know what I'm saying? Splitting the guard, or if he's got his hands apart, you know what I'm saying, just flush to the face. Only has one gear. We talked about that, man. I like fighters that have that can change paces. Mayweather was good at that. Roy Jones Jr. was good at that. Sweet Pea Whitaker was good at that. You know what I'm saying? If you could change gears, if you could change speeds, as well as changing levels too, but if you could change speeds, it goes a lot further and you not becoming as much of a timeable target. And I think Jose is timeable. The only thing is he bulldozes through most of his opponents. But against a masterclass boxer, I think you'll have a lot of trouble because of that. All right, that was the bad. On to the keys to victory. We'll start with the keys for Maurice Hooker. He's got to keep that jab in Ramirez's face and control range and distance with the jab as well as the straight right. Those two punches right there are going to be the ones that control that range and distance. So he's got to do that and do that effectively. He needs to box from the outside and box from the outside effectively, meaning he needs to land his shots. He needs to place his shots well, and he needs to make them count from range. Needs to land that straight right consistently. That's going to go a long way in helping him bring this fight home. And he needs to work the body when open. I'm not saying he's got to get in there in the phone booth and he's got to go in there and bang and all of that, man. But when that, you know, from the intermediate to the range area, whether it's a jab to the solo plex, whether it's a straight to the solo plex, whether it's hooks to the body from the intermediate range where he can get in and out, when those opportunities and those openings present themselves, he needs to take advantage of that. That's going to slow that boy Ram down. All right, on to Ramirez. He needs to keep effective pressure on Mo. We talked about that being one of his tools that he uses is his pressure against the opposition. That's going to need to come into play tonight. He's got to get inside of Hooker's jab, and if he can do that, that's gonna leave Mighty Mo exposed for a lot of inside work. So we'll see how that goes. Hold up, there is something I forgot. And I know it was for Ramirez. Okay, when I was talking about getting inside Hooker's jab, this is one of the bads for Ramirez that I saw. He leaves his jab hanging at times, and he was able to be countered with straight rights over the jab and some straight body shots, you know, under the jab. So, you know what I'm saying, that sometimes that jab lingers and it hangs out there, and he doesn't draw it back as quickly. So he needs to do a better job of that. Okay. Go back to the keys of victory. The left hook needs to land consistently. That's his bread and butter punch. That needs to find a home. And he needs to back Mo up to the ropes or in the corners. That's where Ramirez does most of his most effective fighting, in my opinion. All right. Now, all of that being said, for the winner, I've got Maurice Hooker by majority decision. I think this fight is going to go all 12. I believe that there's going to be ebbs and flows in this fight, but I do believe that Hooker's corner, his team, is going to devise a game plan that keeps Hooker on the outside as much as possible and keeps him at range as much as possible. And I think that's going to be just a little bit too much. I don't think Ram is going to be able to get inside on Hooker as much as he would like. And I think he's going to eat a lot of punches from range. A lot of jabs, a lot of straights from range. And some hooks, too. Mo is pretty decent about hooking off the jab, too. So we'll see. But, yeah, I got Maurice Hooker, majority decision. Looking forward to this fight. I think it's going to be a burner. And look forward to seeing all of y'all pulling up over at MARLO'S Corner. You know what I'm saying? Rocking out with us. And yeah, man, salute to the whole block fam. Salute to everybody that came by the house today. You know what I'm saying?